Hey there, it's Lacy J from Space Bear Media, the makers of Lost in My 40s. Did you know that you can go to spacebearmedia.com right now to access all our content, including our weekly video pre-shows where your hosts ponder ethical questions related to the week's episode and answer some fun questions just for, well, fun. Speaking of fun, if you have it thanks to our content, please consider rating or reviewing Lost in My 40s on your favorite app, or recommend us to a friend who loves Lost. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Lost in My 40s, Season 2, Episode 5, titled ... and Found. Sun Jin episode. My lovely husband.
And Found.
Huh?
I don't think it's ... and Found. I think
yes,
it's just
it is.
And Found.
No, the ... is very specific.
The dots are silent. All three of them are silent.
Oh, that's what you mean. I just mean they do this with Sun and Jin episodes. Last time it was ... in translation, right? So you read it lost in translation, lost and found.
I got it.
Anyways.
Yes.
Derp-de derp derp derp. This is a Ben episode. He is going to take us through the Sun and Jin story this week. But first, he's going to update us on the power rankings after we all say hi. Hi. How's everybody?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Woo. All right.
Well,
where were our rankings at the
she's like our hype man today.
Whee!
All right, power rankings. We have Kate still holding on to first place with Hurley and Helen. H&H bringing up the second slot. And, I mean, do you guys need to even know who's in third place? We know who it is, right?
Douchebag?
Yeah, he's one of everyone's favorites.
In third place,
it's
Dr. Bronze.
It's Dr. Bronze, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dr. Bronze.
Yeah. And the bottom dwellers are still Mr. Cooper and Randy Douchebag Nations tied. Then Susan. Then
It was Kevin, right?
Kevin. Yeah. Again, a bunch of randos.
Well, there's just awful. There are awful characters in some of these flashbacks, huh?
That's true.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of hard to sustain main characters who are that fucking awful.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I mean, just wait.
Yeah, that's true. There are still characters to come. Main characters to come.
There are. And Christy, I guess you're sort of thinking Anna Lucia.
Yeah,
totally.
There's that.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Benjamin, would you like to tell us about ... and found?
I'm going to pretend that didn't just happen. And yes, it's day 47 on the island, and the episode opens with Sun and Claire on the beach. Sun notes that it had been 4 days since her husband and the folks had left on the raft, and Claire tries to reassure her. How she knows this, I don't know, but tries to reassure her it can take up to 2 weeks to find a current. And then
I think wasn't that some of the stuff that Arts told them at the end of season 1?
Yeah, we see what happened to him.
Well, but I think that's where she's getting the info from about like how long it could take or whatever.
Yeah, Arts totally blew it. And then then Claire says Michael knows what he's doing.
Oh,
does he though? Come on,
I don't know.
That's a misplaced vote of confidence, I think, Claire. Maybe she's got a peanut butter high going on. Who knows? So then Sun looks at her hand and then starts to panic, starts speaking Korean, and she starts looking around in the sand. And then she tells Claire that she had lost her wedding ring. And that's sad. That takes us into flashback number 1, where Sun is in her bedroom in a simple white dress, picking out a hair clip, looking, once again, just hot.
Oh, yeah. She always looks so fucking good in these flashbacks.
Yep.
Yeah.
The long hair gets me every time.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. Her mother comes in and is visibly upset at what Sun has chosen to wear. And this actress that plays her mother, I think she was in Big Trouble in Little China. I think she played like the madam at the whorehouse. Yeah, she's the one that goes cash or charge.
Oh, how funny! I have to look that up.
Cash. It's not like it's tax deductible.
Oh my god!
So she
Go
takes
watch Big Trouble in Little China.
I love that movie. It's one of the best movies
so
ever
good.
made.
It's so good.
Awesome.
It's John Carpenter at his best. So she takes the mother takes Sun's high heels and replaces them with flat shoes in case her would-be suitor might be shorter.
I mean, how much do I hate all of this? I hate all of this matchmaking and misogynistic bullshit.
Yeah, one of the
this whole
notes that I wrote was
sucks. I mean,
I wrote, I hate this whole idea that Sun is old now because she didn't get a husband in college.
Right.
And thankfully, here in the U.S., college is no longer about women getting their MRS degree.
Right. And it used to be. Yeah. I hate this whole process. I fucking hate her parents, and I hate all of this.
So does she, it seems. She
So did
says
who?
that. So I said, so does she. So does Sun.
Oh, yeah.
She thinks the matchmaker is ridiculous. But her mother says that if she had found a husband in college, then she wouldn't have to go through this. And then she says something about finding a husband before you turn bronze. Which I've never heard that before, but...
She's silver now.
Right, she's silver.
Yeah,
it's like aging. She's aging out of, she was gold.
I guess gold
I guess
you
you're
see
gold
when you
and
were
silver
in
and
college.
bronze.
And you,
Yep.
Yeah.
And now she's like viewed as an old maid or a bronze,
So-
it's not a gold trophy wife. She's only a bronze.
So do you
trophy
exit the womb as a piece of platinum?
yeah. Just degrade. What are you, like a lump of coal?
I know, seriously.
Well, that's how
think
women have been seen in more of human history than not, is that as a piece of property transaction.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that women first become platinum when we get our first cycle.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
God,
then
there's something gross about that sounding right.
Cycle.
Because then we're baby makers.
Exactly. Now you're marriage material because now you can produce a child.
Oh, God, I'm so fucking mad right now. I can't, even with this shit. Oh.
A woman's regenerative instruments on the altar of relationships.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, she's Lacy's just squirming in her chair right now.
It just makes me so mad.
So we're still in a flashback, and we cut over to a small apartment where Jin is putting a suit on, and then there's another guy. It's kind of a dingy looking small apartment, and there's another guy there who I guess you assume to just be his roommate, who's looking who's looking in the Destiny book, and says that it's Jin's year to meet his bride. Jin sort of scoffs at the idea, but he asks, like, what should he know? What should he look out for just in case? Mm-hmm. The roommate consults the book and tells Jin that his love will look orange.
Did you notice that orange is the same in Korean as it is in English?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Did they just not have a word for that color until...
Perhaps. I don't know.
I don't know how that would work. But okay, yeah, I did notice that too.
Yeah. Huh. I always wish at the end of this episode that the roommate would have come back and said, "Aren't you glad I told you that?"
Oh my
God. So
there's
Jin's,
the bad bin jokes.
Yeah, there we go. So Jin says that he can't take care of a woman and that he can hardly take care of himself, and that a man should work hard, gain respect, and then basically more than the son of a fisherman could ever get. So he's really down on himself, man. That's also
classist
some misogynistic.
society.
That's misogynistic bullshit, that he doesn't see any value in himself unless he can provide.
Yeah.
And that's a horrible message to that's the harm of the patriarchy that is done to men. It's just a terrible fucking mindset.
That was certainly drilled into my head.
Episode. I didn't realize how mad this episode made me until we started talking about it.
So then his friend notices that there's still a tag on his tie, and Jin tells him that he left it on purpose because the tie cost a fortune, and he's going to take it back when he's done with the interview. And then he slaps his roommate in the face with the tie, which I thought was a little strange.
It's a little playful for like roommates.
Yeah. I just imagine he's going to tickle him. He's like, Yee.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So on the island, Jin, Michael, and Sawyer are sitting in the shelter. Whatever that. Do we know what the name of that place is? Like where the hatch is?
Station.
Yeah,
it's
do we know what
another
the station
hatch,
is called?
I guess, but I don't know.
No, we don't know the name of it. It's obviously it's another like Dharma station at this point, but that's all that we really know.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know if I'd missed that or not.
Hasn't been named yet.
No, it's just, I mean, we know what they are now, right? Because we watched the video in orientation, so we know that there are other stations, but this one is not specifically named at this point, but it's clearly what that is. Yeah.
Let's just call it the shithole.
Yeah.
It's the Backenders hole.
The Backenders hole.
Ah.
So we've got Jin, Michael, and Sawyer are all huddled together in the Backenders hole.
Whoop!
This little triple going on there. And then on the other side, so they're huddled together, and the other, the Backenders, I guess we'll call them, are whispering and looking over it.
Yes, that's what we're calling them. You stop resisting.
Michael tells Jin that he thinks Jin is going to see Sun again soon, and Jen seems to understand that and nods. Then Michael says to Sawyer that he suspects the back end. I can't say it. The back end. That they're trying to figure out what to do with them.
The Backenders.
Yeah, the Backenders. Sawyer says, "I think they're going to eat us."
Don't say that.
Anna Lucia
Sawyer
comes
cannot
over.
help himself. It doesn't even matter if he's literally like laying there with a bullet wound. He just has to be a smartass. Mm-hmm.
He does.
All right.
Anna Lucia comes over and tells them to get up and that they need to help gather food and water because there's a long walk ahead of them. Sawyer asks, "Long walk where?" And Anna Lucia says, "Back to where you came from." And that takes us to the title screen.
Back to where you came from.
So when we come back, Anna Lucia opens the station door, opens it to the jungle, and then checks to make sure everything's checks to make sure everything's all clear. Sawyer whispers to Michael that they should run, but Michael urges patience and just kind of waits to see what happens. Anna Lucia instructs everybody to stay in pairs, to be quiet. And
I think part of this with Michael, like why he makes this decision is like, I think in his head, he's calculating these people have had more contact with the so-called others. Yeah. And I think he's like, if I stick around with them, I might learn enough to go find Walt.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what he's up to at this point?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So then Michael demands to know basically what's going on around here. Anna Lucia does not give him an answer, but instead just starts kind of assigning jobs to people. And then I
they're
think
very reluctant to talk about what happened.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And I want to address, like, as they come out, you see, I think Libby and one of the other people, they have these things. It looks like a boomerang tied to the end of a stick. It looked like they're going out to play field hockey. Like, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck those tools are for.
I think that it's exactly a boomerang tied to a stick. I mean, they're coming from Australia. People bring back boomerangs as, you know,
you're probably right. That actually makes sense.
Souvenirs.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what that's meant to do. Like maybe like hook somebody, make him trip.
Yeah. I don't know. You could hit him across the face with it. That might work.
I suppose.
If you don't know how to properly use a boomerang, you may as well use it as a blunt instrument.
Crikey.
I just use a stick, but okay. Yeah. So now we're back to Sun, and she's looking through everything she can, going through all of her bags and everything, trying to find the ring. Jack walks up and asks if she's okay. And she tells him that she lost the ring and she can't remember the last time she saw it. She says something about like, I'm so used to it being there that I just didn't even realize it was gone. Mm-hmm. And Jack...
She probably lost weight and it fell off her finger.
Yeah, or was dehydrated.
Yeah, right.
So Jack says he lost his ring once. He went through the garbage. He took apart the pipes and the plumbing. Never ended up finding it. And Sun basically asked him, like, well, what did you do? And he told her that he went to the jeweler and just got a replica made. Which...
Not very helpful, Jack.
No. She smiles at first, but then you can kind of see it was like, oh, well... Yeah,
because there's not a jeweler on the island.
No,
yeah,
no.
right.
No tailors, no cobblers, no jewelers. Nope. This place is fucking Bush League.
Yep.
What kind of a fucking deserted island is this?
Seriously.
Even if she could have the ring remade,
it's not the same thing.
It's not. My engagement ring is my great grandmother's engagement ring. And at one point, Caleb and I had been out to dinner, and I looked down at my ring, and the diamond was gone.
Ooh,
and
shit.
I was almost sick right there sitting at the bar. Thankfully, I found it the very next morning. It was sitting in my car between the seat and the door.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So I did go to a jeweler and have it fixed. But, that evening when I had lost the diamond, Caleb's like, well, we can take it and get a new diamond put in. I'm like, I love you. Thank you. It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's weird how objects can carry such sentimental weight, isn't it?
Yeah.
We tie our emotions to certain objects. Yeah, it's interesting.
In certain, I can't remember which gas giants they are, but there's in some of the outer planets, I think it's the gas giants like Jupiter,
Uranus.
where there's layers of the atmosphere that because of the pressure so high, it literally rains diamonds.
Yes, I think it's Jupiter.
I thought it did that on Jupiter. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I think it might be.
I just like to say Uranus.
Since we're talking about the backenders here.
Backenders.
Yeah, back ends,
exactly.
Uranus, holes. I mean, what the hell? 35%.
Oh, man.
Benjamin, continue.
Yes. So now we're out, and Jin, Anna Lucy, and Bernard are all fishing. Well, Jin is fishing. The other two are just kind of whatever they're doing.
Throwing nets into the water.
Exactly. Anna Lucia is wants Jin to help them, and he just keeps... He says something in Korean, and he's like taking the spines off of an sea urchin or whatever, and just throwing it into the water. And then... Again, she's like, do you want to eat? She's being typical Anna Lucia.
She gets really obnoxious, too, where she's like, do I look like I speak Korean?
Do you want to eat?
Such a bitch.
At least she recognized it was Korean.
That's true.
I think they told... No, Sawyer introduced... When she first dropped into the pit, he said this Korean guy is Jen.
Okay.
He told him. Yeah, or told her. Anyways.
So then Cool is the other side of the pillow. He walks into some shallow water, throws his net out, pulls it back, and there's a bunch of big ass fish in there. And he holds it up. Anna Lucia and Bernard are both kind of like, oh, wow. Like, okay, this fucker can actually fish. So then he holds everything up and he just goes, fish.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was great.
Yeah.
I would also like to congratulate Ben on that really great comparison. Cool is the flip side of the pillow.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Just take a moment
Thank
and
you.
appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm going to bask in my own glory.
Oh, boy.
And this takes us to flashback number 2, where Jin is sitting in an office looking very, very nervous. He's at this interview, and the interviewer is looking over his resume. And he notices that Jin worked at the Asiana Hotel and was promoted from within. And he says that doesn't really happen a whole lot. And then he cuts over and just asks what village Jin is from. And Jin tells him, I think, was it Name? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's the spelling.
Name, yeah.
Nahme, yeah.
God's such a prick.
And the interviewer says, I thought I smelled fish on you.
What the fuck?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck is with these people?
So obviously that village he's from is known, I guess, to be a fisherman's village and poor and lower
Right. I mean, he's
class.
just making sure that Jin knows that he
This
is...
place.
Yeah.
Right. He's not in his place, and he's lucky to be allowed into this class.
Such an
It's
asshole.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then-
God, I'm getting upset again.
And then he rips... Then the interviewer rips the tag from his tie, but then immediately says, But then he goes on to say, like,
you clearly knew what he was doing, and the interviewer's like, haha, fuck you, now you've got to pay for the damn tie.
Yeah.
But then he tells him like that he's going to be hired. He's going to start immediately. He cannot ask for a raise. He cannot ask for time off. He will work day and night, rain and shine, all that. And then somebody comes in with a uniform and hands it to Jin. And then the interviewer tells him that this is one of the finest hotels in the country and that it's not open to people like him.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah.
Really fucking awful.
Yeah. And then Jin, still, happy that he got the job, tells the man he'll do his best and, keeps bowing and thanking him.
So in this scene, this is some fucked up classist sort of shit. Like the fact that this guy feels the need to like denigrate Jin at every step. Like there are few things I think that really irk me more than people who think they're better than other people through some sort of birthright, whether that's
right. Yeah, I
hate
that shit.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh God, that makes me so mad.
Yeah.
That makes me so fucking mad. Anyways, God, this episode is just like really getting to me. Sorry,
really
guys.
Angering you.
All right. Back to the jungle. Michael and Libby are walking together, and Libby apologizes to him for throwing them in the pit of despair. And she says, like, you and your friends. And then Michael says, well, the redneck is not my friend.
Here they go again. Back and forth.
I know.
This shit.
Yeah. This bromance. They don't want to admit they like each other.
I guess.
And Libby says she's never seen anyone so scared. And she says, like, I know about being scared. And Michael asks, is like, were they scared? Because, like, did they throw them into the pit because they were scared? And Libby responds that they've got trust issues.
They are just building up. Like, what has been going on with the Backenders? Like, it's relentless at this point.
Yeah, like a lot of back end trauma.
Yeah.
So of course we remember they're actually out trying to gather fruit or food. I guess fruit is a type of food. Michael suggests going inland because they're not finding any, and then Libby tells him that you don't want to go that way because that's where they come from.
They.
So we cut over to Ana Lucia, Bernard, and Jin, and they're wrapping fish in leaves, I guess, to make it so that they can travel with
maybe?
them. Yeah, I guess
too,
so.
Yeah.
And Sawyer sits a little away from them with his head down and eyes closed. Obviously, he's still kind of woozy because he's still hurt. And then all of a sudden, like a machete goes into the wood right next to him.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, and then do we know? Oh, we learned his name right here, so we're just going to call him the big old what, sexy black guy was it you're calling him? Sexy jungle man,
muscular jungle guy man,
whatever that was.
Yeah, well, I know I reconsidered the jungle language after it sounded racist, but yeah, half naked sexy man. Yeah, it would go with that.
He tells Sawyer, he gives him the machete and says, for your protection when we travel. And Sawyer takes it, and then he realizes, like he looks at it and can tell it was made out of actual like parts from the plane.
Yeah.
And he asks Mr. Echo his name, and he says Mr. Echo. And then Sawyer says, like Mr. Ed, which I don't know, man. So I know he's hurt, but his wit game is sort of lacking right now. What the hell?
I don't really get it.
That
like,
one was not funny. Mr.
Just because it has Mr. in front of it, like I don't get it
starts
either.
with an E.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's been losing blood now for a little while.
Yeah.
I guess
he's probably getting infected too.
It is getting infected.
Yeah. I think Mr. Echo should have just look when he said like Mr. Ed. Mr. Echo should have just gone nay.
I saw it coming. I knew it. This is what 10 years living with you, and I can see that shit coming a mile away now.
So then Libby comes up to the group running and says that Michael had left and that he basically had taken off toward the others, which I was like, sweet, one less problem to deal with. But obviously they're still concerned about Michael. So Ana Lucia says they're going to go on without him. And then Jin starts talking or speaking in Korean to Sawyer. Bernard wants to know what they're saying. And Jin just says,
Sawyer's like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. So
I noticed in this episode that Jin's English is getting a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's learning.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been total immersion now for
47
days
Yeah.
or something. I'd be surprised if he hadn't picked up a little bit.
Yeah.
He's been around Sawyer a lot too, so his first few words are probably just going to be like nicknames for people.
I also noticed in this episode he still has the handcuff on his wrist.
Yeah.
They've had no way to cut
Never
that
took
off
that
yet.
off. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ana Lucia says that they're leaving and tells Cindy, who I think wasn't she the flight attendant?
Yes.
Cindy is the flight attendant. That's right. Yeah.
So asks her to carry the water and for Libby to carry the radio. And then Sawyer says that they can't wait for him. He can't wait for Michael to come back. And Michael is never going to come back without his son, without Walt. And then he says, it's every man for himself, Chewie. What did that mean again? I don't even know where that came from. Did we discuss that before?
I think it's because he can't understand because, Chewbacca goes...
Is that what it is?
Sounds like
okay.
to him.
Yeah. Okay. That's how I read it too. It was
That's
just
my
like
interpretation of
his
it.
companion that doesn't speak the same language.
Got it.
Yeah.
So Jin turns to leave. Mr. Echo kind of steps in front of him, tries to stop him. Jin punches him in the face, and Mr. Echo just headbutts him and knocks him to the ground.
That was great.
Yeah.
He is not taking your shit.
No, and Jin jumps right back up, and it's like they have kind of two stags. They're staring at each other for a second, and then you can see Mr. Echo kind of he kind of flips real quick. He kind of softens, and he grabs one of those stupid ass hockey sticks and hands it to him, and says that he's gonna help Jin find Michael.
Yeah, Mr. Echo's a stand-up guy. He can't help himself. He has to help other people.
Yeah. So Ana Lucia once again says they're not going to wait.
She doesn't give a shit. She's like, let's go.
Oh.
But we find out why later, why she's such a hurry. So it's not as selfish.
She's a bitch.
She is.
Oh my God.
How do you really feel, Christy?
Christy hates Ana Lucia.
I was waiting for her to chime in there.
Oh my goodness.
So back on the beach, Sun and Hurley are in the same scene, and Hurley tells Sun that all she has to do to find the ring is to retrace her steps. Sun starts listing off the things that she did. Wow. Sun starts listing off the things she did.
Ben, are you getting high too?
No, I'm not.
I feel like there was just a glitch in the Matrix or something.
Yeah. All right.
And when she gets to the part of the story where she was feeding Vincent, Hurley just says, bingo. And now
they're going poop surfing.
They're going poop surfing.
Surfing.
Yeah, this is another Backender thing? Is this another Backender thing?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's definitely not
butthole surfers.
So now they're poop surfing, sitting on a log together. Jesus Vincent is digging in the dirt nearby, and Hurley asks Sun if she's from the good Korea or the bad Korea. And Sun says the good one, but then the look on her face when she says that, you could tell she's a little conflicted about saying what she said. And then she's like, this is ridiculous. Vincent didn't eat the ring. And then Hurley regales her with some story about a dog that they had that I can't remember exactly what he was talking about, but basically that
he ate nickels or something.
Yeah, he $1.35 in nickels.
That's what it was. He crapped a roll of nickels basically. And then
that's a lot of nickels. Damn,
it is. That's 27 nickels. Yeah,
that would probably poison you before it would come out.
Why would the dog eat 27 nickels anyway?
Dogs are weird. I've seen.
Because they eat weird shit, but
when I was working in surgery, when I was newly out of tech school, and we had a surgery with a beagle, and it had an obstruction in its small intestine, and they got in there, opened it up, and pulled out $300 bills that the dog had eaten and had managed to pass somehow through his stomach. They stayed whole and rolled up. So dogs really will, like, some of them at least, will eat just about anything.
Some of them are they've only got a hunger for folding money, though.
My old dog Crunch was not the brightest creature. And one day,
that's a nice way to put it. He was a dumb dog.
I loved him though.
You can love dumb dogs.
Yeah,
we got one right now.
One day, Crunch ate a used condom.
Oh, fun! Was it one of your guys' used condoms?
We were like, where did it go? Oh my god, where did the condom go? And then the next day, he crapped it out, and I was like, well, there it is.
Oh gosh.
Did it make a bubble before it came out?
Oh my god!
Was it fully intact?
I don't want to talk about it.
So back to this. Hurley asks Sun if she ever had a dog, and she says, yeah, that Jen had gotten her one, and that its name was Popo, which meant
Popo.
Kiss.
That's how she says it.
Popo.
Yep.
Popo.
This takes us to flashback number 3, where Sun and her mother are being helped out of the car at the hotel, and her mother tells Sun to keep her hands in her lap and not to speak unless spoken to.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and when they come in, the matchmaker greets them outside the hotel before they go in, and tells them that the family of the man that she is to meet owns the hotel and 12 others. So,
lucky number 13.
Big ballers.
Yep, loaded.
So Jin, at this point, is working at the hotel, and he opens the door for the 3 women. Doesn't really see Sun at that point.
He pretty much keeps his eyes
he was
to
bowing,
the ground.
looking down, yeah.
And looking really pleased, too. Like, he seems like he's really enjoying the job, like, you know.
He's taking pride in his work.
Yep.
Yeah.
So inside, Sun, her mom, and a man, a tall, kind of skinny, kind of bald man that's about her age, and his mother, they all sit down at the table, and they start talking about their kids. Sun's mom kind of downplays her accomplishments and basically saying like, oh, well, it's not Harvard, or was it Harvard or Yale? I can't remember.
Harvard.
Was it Harvard? And then,
which is funny because didn't we just recently discover that that's where the actor who played Jin?
Yeah,
yes.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Went to Harvard. Anywho,
so the matchmaker says, okay, let's leave these kids alone, let them get to know each other. And when she does, the guy asks, or whatever his name is, asks Sun, who is pressuring her more to marry either her mother or father. And she says, my father through my mother.
Ugh.
And then she asks back to him, what about you? And he says, my father through my mother, through my aunt, through my grandmother, something like that. They both start to laugh, and you can kind of tell that they're hitting it off. There's a chemistry there.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
We come back to the island. Mr. Echo and Jin are walking through the jungle. They come upon a clearing, and they hear a rustling. And Jin runs off in the direction of the sound, and then once again the boar comes out, running. Runs at Jin, and it's fucking when it hits him, he goes flying.
It plows him.
It plows him. And that's I know
there's
that's
no
something
visible injuries.
Exactly.
Well, no.
When you said plows, immediately I started thinking about the Backenders, and I was like,
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all part of the greater theme of this podcast.
Yes. Plowing.
So
Butt sex.
they were having butt sex. Cowboy butt sex. Sodomy. So after Jin does
Family Guy
his
again. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry. I've drilled that into his brain.
giggity. I mean, you just keep feeding a drill.
Keep lining them up.
Seriously. So after Jin finishes his super dramatic tumble down the hill, he comes to a rest and finds a dead body with a large piece of something, metal or wood, sticking out of his chest. Mr. Echo comes up and says his name was Goodwin. And Jin asks if it was the others who killed him, and Mr. Echo says yes or not.
He doesn't really say specifically. He just says others, and you're to assume what he's asking is, did the others kill him?
He is asking that.
Yeah. So yeah.
Maybe the piece of metal is part of the hockey stick.
Yeah, I love this moment. When he just says his name was Goodwin, it was like, oh my God, what happened to these fucking people?
I know.
Yeah. So Mr. Echo and Jin continue on their side quest. Mr. Echo stops.
Oh my God.
And gets come on, Michael is a side quest, let's face it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Mr. Echo stops and he finds some aloe and he breaks a piece off and then hands it to Jin to dress his, what was it? I can't remember. Was it his arm? No, it was his arm or his leg.
Had to be his leg if it was a boar, you would think.
I would
the way
think
he went
so.
Tumbling.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought I remember him applying it to his arm. I could be thinking about something else, though. And then he sees the ring and asks Jin if he's married, and he says yes. And then Jin asks Mr. Echo if he's married, and he says no, worse.
Worse. He does say that.
Worse, yeah.
Yeah.
Which that was one of those things I was like, what is, there's a little mystery.
Yeah, I would like
right
him
there.
to elaborate on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to need to wait a few more episodes.
Right.
Yeah. So then we go over to Sun, and she's in her garden digging in the dirt, still looking for a ring, and she starts to get really, really frustrated, and then just starts ripping all of the plants out of the ground and throwing them all over the place.
I feel for her in this moment.
Yeah.
Destroying their food and stuff. Man.
Seriously.
Yeah, but
she just brought Hurley over and stick a piece of dynamite in there.
She's taking power over the only thing she has any control over.
Yeah.
She can control what happens to those plants, and she has no control over what's happening to Jin. No control over where the fuck her ring is. No control over being stranded on this island, and she just is putting it into, I'm going to rip these plants out of this ground, and that is going to be my statement.
Yeah.
It's sad. I feel for her.
But then, who comes out of nowhere?
Lock in a box.
Yep, he just popped up.
He just pops up and says, "Bad day." Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Man,
He's so great with the, under, I can't think of the word, but underselling things, basically. Like when he said to Walt, "You're having a bad month."
Yeah, he's understated.
Yeah.
He
or
seems
he
to pop up like when
things, I guess. Yeah.
When people are at their like lowest, he seems to just kind of jump in there and sort of give them some buoyancy.
Yep. Yeah. He's like the shaman.
Yeah, absolutely. So he hands her a handkerchief to wipe her face and sits down next to her. And she asks, "Did you see me?" And Locke replies, "Rip apart your garden? No." Sort of smiles.
So fucking funny.
She laughs. And, Locke says sometimes that he wishes he had a garden to tear apart. And Sun kind of makes the observation that she'd never actually seen him angry before. Locke does a Locke smile and says he used to be angry a lot, but he's not lost anymore.
Lost.
He does. He very specifically says, "I'm not lost anymore."
Yep. Yeah.
Because, he belongs on the island
now. Yeah.
Well, it's not just that, right? It's just, it seems like he is meant to be
his
on
destiny,
this island.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's fulfilling his purpose.
Right.
And he's like he said, he tells her that he doesn't get angry anymore, and Sun wants to know how he accomplished that. And he tells her that when you're lost, you have to just stop looking.
Mm-hmm.
Which takes us to flashback number 4. Sun is checking her makeup in a mirror, and she's sitting at the restaurant. Was this the same? I can't tell. Was this the same hotel?
Yeah,
it must
it's
have
all
been.
the same
is.
place.
Yeah.
It's where Jin
That's
works.
right.
It's all like
Because Jin was there.
the guy's hotel, whatever.
That's right.
It's supposed to be this. Yeah, this is second date or whatever. Second.
Yeah,
date.
they just only go on dates in buildings that he owns, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a power
He's
play.
going to get excellent service there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, we can move these tables. I own the place. Outside, same guy, the bald guy, drives up in a convertible, and Jin runs up, helps him out of his car, and calls him Mr. Lee. And then Mr. Lee asks Jin if he can have the flower or whatever that's on his lapel, because he's got a date. Jin agrees and gives him the flower, and then Mr. Lee, who seems like a pretty gracious guy, he seems like a really nice guy, asks Jin his name. Jin says Jin Su-kwon. And then Mr. Lee thanks him and goes inside.
Notice that it's an orange flower.
I did.
Oh, interesting. This character's name, Mr. Lee, his first name is Jae, which is funny because that's my middle name. Jay Lee is his name, the character. Nobody cares. Nobody fucking cares.
No.
I mean, I don't know
Great.
if it's that's interesting. I don't know if it's funny.
I think he's handsome.
He is handsome. That's true. You're right.
And his
not
family
funny.
owns a lot of fucking hotels.
Yeah. 13 hotels. Shit.
Okay.
Wait. He's not real, though. Right?
I realize that.
Oh, okay.
The man is still handsome. He is a real man.
Yeah, I think he's cute.
Yeah.
So, at the table,
Oh, my God. Look, I liked it that his name was my name. And you know what? You can humor me or not.
Name too.
Oh, boy.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
screw you
And now
guys,
it's in my
I'm
head.
giving him.
Hey, Ben.
Yeah, babe?
Got any special occasions coming up that you need a card for?
Is this a trick question?
No, it's an advertisement.
Is this about barbcards.com again?
Bingo.
So, I suppose you're going to remind me that each handmade card is only $1.50.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't come with busy backgrounds or flowery poetry.
You got it. Barbcards.com offers to-the-point communication within several different categories, including our favorite, potty mouth. And if you can't find what you want, barbcards.com can do customizations.
Can I still get all of my cards for no more than $4 shipping, no matter the size of the order?
You know it. Barbcards.com has got all you need. Hey, Ben.
Oh my God, what are we selling now?
Merch.
Our merch?
Yes, sir. Shirts, coffee mugs, wine tumblers, bottle openers, stickers, magnets, and more. Your choice of product and your choice of Space Bear Media graphic from any of our podcasts.
Please tell me we're not making merch now, too.
Of course not. We'll stick to podcasts, and Pixis products will do the rest.
Thank God. I bet you have more to say, though.
Sure do. Pixis Products is a small business run by a local mom, well, local to us anyway, who needed something else to do besides being a snack bitch.
What?
A snack bitch, also known as a mom with a young child.
There's still more, isn't there?
Yepers! Pixis Products works with other small businesses for supplies, art, and other collaborations at every opportunity, including ours. In fact, Pixis Products even gave Space Bear Media our own storefront on their site. You can find us at shopspacebear.com.
Say what?
You heard me. Go to shopspacebear.com and buy something.
So at the table, Mr. Lee is telling Sun a story about getting locked out of a hotel room in one of his own, in only a towel. They laugh, and Sun expresses to him that he seems so normal, I guess, because he's really rich, but that he seems really, really normal.
He does seem kind of down to earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm believing it. I'm right along with her. I'm thinking like something's happening here, and it's sweet. And
But
big butt coming, and he tells her that she's great and they should continue to see each other, that their parents would be pleased, and that they won't have to deal with matchmakers anymore. Sun looks pretty happy, and Lee then drops the bomb. Lee drops the bomb that when he went to Harvard, he met an American woman, and that he's planning to move there and get married in 6 months.
So what the fuck is he matchmaking for?
Well, he says
He's going through the motions.
No, that's what he's saying is like if we agree to see each other, then at least our parents will leave us alone. Like he apparently was under the impression that that's what she was looking for too, when she thought, which she may have been initially, but I think she kind of accidentally fell for this guy when he had no intention.
Why wouldn't she assume that he meant to marry her?
Of course, sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I assumed.
They didn't have any other communication. Like he just kind of assumes that this situation would work for her as well. I don't know why. Maybe, I mean, she comes across as smart and independent, and maybe he just picked up on the fact that she's not really looking for a husband. Yeah, I don't know. But he definitely makes a huge assumption here, which is breaks her heart, and then breaks my heart.
I gotta ask a question: why the fuck did he need a flower? If he was going into this to break this type of news, or just to tell her something other than
because I think he's ready
together.
to go through the motions publicly. This is what I'm going to pretend I'm doing.
He put it on his own lapel. It's not like he gave her the flower.
Oh, that's true. He was just showing up looking nice.
Yeah, he was wearing the flower on his lapel.
Yeah. I didn't think he had given it to her, but I was still wondering, like, why. But I guess, Lacy, like, you get it.
He's going through the motions. That's what he's saying. Like, we'll get them off of us, and then we can go on with our lives. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, she obviously wasn't feeling like she was going down that same path. So she seems kind of sad. And then he tried to apologize because I think at that point he realizes, maybe.
He was not up front in the beginning, which is really weird the way he approached this, but whatever.
Yeah. He starts to try to apologize, and Sun just kind of plays it off. Like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. And then tells him that she's got an appointment and she's got to leave. So we come back to the jungle where Mr. Echo and Jin are walking, and Echo points out fresh tracks in the mud. Jin asks if the tracks belong to Michael, and Mr. Echo says, yes, they don't leave tracks.
What?
Yeah.
They.
So they start moving through the trees, and then they hear a rustling, and they freeze. Jin tries to say something, but Mr. Echo puts his hand over his mouth. And then the sounds of the jungle come up, and all of a sudden you see Jin and Echo hiding like under some bushes. And then in front of them, several sets of legs step through.
When they were hiding like that, all I could think of were hobbits hiding on the road.
Hiding from the ring wraith.
Yes. It was very reminiscent of that.
And Charlie wasn't even in the scene.
Seriously. So again, a couple, several sets of legs, some without shoes, some looking dirty. They all kind of pass in front. And then the last one, you see like there's a teddy bear being dragged on like a rope or something, or on a string behind the last set of legs.
Creepy as fuck.
That is really creepy.
The first time that I saw this episode back in, I guess, 2005, this scene creeped me the fuck out.
Yep. It's creepy. Yeah. They do something here with the camera work that when the feet are going by, it's not in like normal time.
Jumping.
It's either sped up or slowed down, or like something about it's unnatural the way it looks like they're walking. It has a very spooky feel to it.
Yeah.
And the others don't have a cobbler either.
No, they don't.
Apparently not.
Man, there's no cobblers on this island.
Yeah, what is that? Like, I know there's different frame rates that they can film at, that they can reproduce it.
They definitely messed with something. I don't have it. I didn't look it up as like trivia. I don't know. One of our listeners, email us, spacebearmedia.com. Go to the contact page. Send us an email about how they did this.
Yeah.
We'll read it out on a pre-show. Anywho.
So Once they go by, Mr. Echo and Jin get up from the spot, and Mr. Echo points out that the people they saw came from the opposite direction than Michael went. And he says, basically, Michael passed in front of them. That's really good luck. Jin tells Mr. Echo to go back, and he says, no, we'll find him together. Mr. Echo's
He's
awesome.
just dedicated.
I'm just going to say it right here. Like, he's just awesome.
He's
I love Mr.
dedicated.
Echo.
Like, somebody needs help. I think he sort of is, like, ascertains that, like, this person is going to do this with or without me, so I might as well be supportive.
Yeah.
That's like the true nature of somebody who is actually supportive is like, I'm not going to really question what you're doing. I'm just going to help you.
Yeah. And I think there's also sort of the dynamic that you felt like Ana Lucia was the one who was definitely in charge. But Mr. Echo, now that they meet these other people, he's starting to kind of come out from under her and starting to assume his own sort of leadership role, even if it's only his own choices.
I feel like at this point, I feel like I am reading their relationship as fairly equal. They just are playing different roles.
I guess I can see that. Yeah.
They feel almost like the Jack and the Lock of the originals.
Yeah.
They are, competing ideologies or ways to approach things, but they're very much partners in leadership.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, like she's very like cut your losses, like survive, get here. Where he's got more of a, I don't know.
She's practical and he's empathetic.
Yeah,
Right, there you go.
But they're both highly capable as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely sort of an analog to Locke and Jack.
Yeah, that's the way I read it. I don't know what the writer's intentions were, but that's what I'm pulling down.
If you know the writer's intentions, please email us and let us know, and we'll read it on the show. If you're a writer, then you can come on the show and just tell us what you think.
Yes, that too. Always invited. Yes.
Flashback number 5. So Sun is leaving the hotel after finding out about Mr. Lee's American woman and that whole marriage thing.
American woman. Sorry. I was just struck
Jin
with
opens the door for her. God. Oh, we're going to stop singing that at some point, right?
No, never.
Nope.
Well, I'm going to. You guys can keep going with it. I'm going to Ana Lucia on this one. I'm just cutting my losses and going. So after she leaves, there's a man who approaches the front of the hotel, obviously poor, and he's got a kid. And he asks Jin if he can go inside and his kid can use the bathroom. And, Jin, obviously from what Mr. Hiring Manager had said, is like, no, you can't go in. It's only for guests. But then the man is like, it's an emergency. And you feel
even
really...
asked the kid, can you hold it?
Okay.
I remember
kid's
asking
like,
the kid, can you hold it? Well, obviously you can't.
Yeah.
This is sad. All of this is sad. I'm
sad.
just like roiling over here. Just, ugh.
Yeah.
Fucking child let him pee. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Eventually Jin lets him inside, tells him, go in there, go to the left. The man
And I saw the
apologizes.
asshole staring at him.
Yeah.
Jin just continues to redeem himself, right? Like when the series starts off, we all really
I thought he was
hated
an
him.
Asshole, yeah.
And with every step of the way, like every bit of backstory, you find out more and more of like how decent of a human being Jin is at his core.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Or he was before Mr. Peck got his hands on him.
I wonder
Yeah.
if that's going to happen with Ana Lucia and Christy eventually.
I don't think so.
Oh my God.
So as the poor guy and his kid go in to use the can, the hiring manager comes in to Jin and starts reprimanding him for letting poor people inside the hotel. And then he tells Jin, this is your only warning. You do this again, you're fired. And then he has to go one further, and he tells Jin that he doesn't care. These people, they can go piss in the gutter.
Yeah, people like him.
People like him can go piss in the gutter.
This fucking guy.
And
Who
you can tell.
the fuck are you? What? Because you were born into a situation like you think you can treat people like that? Oh, fuck this guy. Fuck all of this. All of this storyline is just infuriating.
So Jin obviously he's kind of done with it. He takes off his gloves and that stupid fucking hat.
Yeah.
And he thanks the man for the opportunity and quits.
Yep,
good for him.
Love it.
Yeah, he's a decent guy.
Yeah, because he told Jin to go in there and get him out of the hotel, too.
Yeah.
The kid and the father.
Yeah, like, it's just a kid that had to pee. Like, you got to be kidding me right now.
Yeah.
More power to Jin in this moment. Because, I mean, honestly, like, what he's doing is...
It would have been better if he would have decked the guy after he quit.
Wow. But he could be permanently, like, destroying his reputation. This could be directly what leads to him having to take the offer from Mr. P is because, you know, he's desperately trying to hang on to a class that does not want to let him in, and his options become lesser. But he still, you know, he did the right thing in this moment, I think. But
so we come back to the island, and Sun's sitting under a tree on the beach, and Kate walks up, and she says that Hurley had told her about the wedding ring. So once again, you can't tell the fat guy anything.
Nope.
Sun says that it's kind of silly that she's so upset about it because it's just a thing. And then Kate tries to kind of reassure her that they've only been gone a few days. And Sun tells her, like, don't do that. You know, she's
I'm with
tired
Sun in this moment. I'm with Sun in this moment. And you know why I can relate in this moment? Ben.
Because I do that to you all the time.
No. Because when we were going through infertility and we were doing IVF and stuff like that, I got so tired of hearing all the time, like, it's just a matter of time and you're going to be successful. And, it was always...
You don't know that. Stop the empty platitudes. It does not help
and it
anybody.
got to me where I was just like, just stop telling me things like that. I just stop.
Yeah.
And that's how I relate to her in this moment where it's just stop blowing smoke up my ass and be real for like a second.
Let me have my feelings.
Yeah.
Quit trying to talk me out of my feelings.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, when someone dies and they said, is there anything I can do for you? Yeah, bring them back to life.
Right,
I know. Could turn back time.
I mean,
that's what we're talking about. It's the platitudes, the things that people just say without really considering, like, well, what does that even mean?
I'm sorry for your loss. Yeah.
Oh, they're in a better place. Everything happens for a reason. Fuck off.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Actually, so and you know what? I can actually, this is the next episode. Never mind. I'm not going to say what I was going to say because that actually relates to the next episode.
Point is, I'm on her fucking side in this moment. Just shut the fuck up about telling me he's okay. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. But then she kind of comes out with it then, and she tells Kate that Claire found the bottle from the raft and that it had washed up on the shore. And then Sun tells Kate that she had buried it. And again, I'm going to say she didn't bury it well, and somebody's going to step on that thing and lose a foot. So now we are back to the jungle with the Backenders and Sawyer walking through the jungle. You win, by the way, Lacy. I'm now calling them the Backenders. It's far easier. Yes.
Backenders.
Sawyer doesn't look good. Well, I mean, he doesn't look healthy.
He always looks good.
Exactly.
Good and greasy.
Good and greasy. So he's breathing pretty heavily, and he sits on the ground, and Ana Lucia tells everyone to stop. She gives him some water and tells him that if he keeps slowing them down, they're going to leave him behind. He tells her, go ahead and do it. And she says, all right, see you. And then Sawyer asks her how she plans to find the camp without Mr. Echo, because he realizes that Mr. Echo is the tracker. And she says they're going to hike to the beach and then follow it around. Eventually, we'll find them. And then Sawyer asks...
I mean, not wrong, out of nowhere, I guess.
Yeah.
And Sawyer asks if she's married. And she tells him no. And he says,
this was funny.
Too bad. You seem suited for it. And you could tell that's one of the first times that it kind of broke through her guard just a little bit. The other time was actually when he said, I'm going to kill you, hit me again and I'm going to kill you.
Yep. Yeah, but he got to her with that comment. Yeah, she definitely, she smirked. There was a tiny little moment of vulnerability from Ana Lucia. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Sawyer finishes drinking water and gets up, and they continue their journey. Now we're back to Jin and Mr. Echo. They come up on a stream, and they both kind of get down in the water, start drinking. And Mr. Echo tells Jin that he actually lost Michael's trail and that he's going to go back and see if he can pick it up, and tells Jin to stay by the water while he goes. Jin is splashing water on his face, and then all of a sudden Michael shows up. Kind of lock in a box right there.
Yeah,
like he just comes out of nowhere. Says, "What are you doing?" Michael tells.
Sorry to interrupt, but I just want to go back a second when you were talking about how, too bad you seem suited for it. She turns and asks him, "You gay?" And then she says, "Funny."
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she totally implies that he seems suited for it. So,
well, he is greasy with long hair and a sweet Southern accent. I could see the gays going for that.
Sure got a pretty mouth.
Oh, God.
All right.
Whew, okay.
So Michael tells Jin to go back, but and then starts to run off. Jin follows him, and then that brings us to a commercial break. Come back, Coral. Yeah,
Coral.
We come back to Mike screaming Walt again. Jin tells him to be quiet. I know, he's screaming it like at a waterfall.
You can't hear.
Michael,
Jesus Christ.
I feel like the thing with Michael is that his heart is in the right place, but he's just such a fucking dumbass, like most of the time. And he just, he acts, he doesn't take into consideration like anything. He's so impulsive that that's his downfall.
Yeah, running off into the jungle, screaming at a waterfall. I mean,
what are you doing? Like, think for like a second before you act, Michael, but he can't.
Yeah. Come on, Michael. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
So Jin tells him to be quiet. Michael says he doesn't care. He wants the others to hear him and to take him, obviously, because he thinks that's how he's gonna see Walt again. Mr. Echo shows back up and says shouting is not good. Michael tells him to stay away, that he's not leaving without Walt. Mr. Echo says he knows that they took Walt, but that Michael has no idea what these people are capable of. And he says if they don't want to be found, they will not be found.
What?
I know. The mystery around this is like, it's too much.
Michael, once again, says, I'm not going back without Walt.
Oh, my God, Michael.
Yeah, so Jin puts his hand on Coral. Jin puts his hand on Michael's shoulder and says, You find Walt, Michael. And then Michael reluctantly leaves with them.
Yeah, like he's basically saying, like, we're going to find him.
Yeah. Just
don't
calm
worry.
Down.
So then Michael goes back with them. So this entire little fucking excursion was for nothing. He just ran off to cause fucking trouble because he can't
Mr. Impulsive again.
think, more than 5 minutes ahead of himself. Like, Jesus Christ, Michael.
I know.
And being in construction, you're supposed to plan way ahead. So.
Yeah.
Let's start building this.
He's just, this entire experience for him, he's just painting a new life for himself.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah. So on the beach, Sun is digging up the bottle for Kate, and Kate starts pulling notes out all willy-nilly. And Sun's like, hey, those are private, but Kate doesn't stop. And she starts to confide in Sun that she didn't say goodbye to Sawyer.
Yeah, I knew that. Whenever she said I didn't say goodbye, I'm thinking Sawyer.
Obviously, yeah. So Sun starts putting the notes back in the bottle, and Kate smiles. And Sun kind of looks down where Kate's looking, and there's her ring right there where she had buried the bottle.
When you first watched this episode, did you know this is where the ring was? 'Cause that's where I assumed it was, because I remember her burying the bottle.
Yeah, as soon as Sun told Kate that the bottle existed and that she buried it, that's when the light bulb went off for me.
Yep.
watching it was like, uh-oh, that's where it is. Yeah, I was expecting it.
So then we cut just kind of randomly to Echo, Jin, and Michael walking through the jungle. And they obviously are doing this just so that they can lead us into another flashback where Jin is walking on the sidewalk on a river somewhere in the city. And he sees a woman pass by in a really, really bright orange dress. He turns around, kind of looks at her. And checking her out. And as he turns back forward, he runs into Sun. She drops something. I think it drops her purse or something like that.
Purse and some stuff, keys.
Yeah. So he helps her. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and just giving her all of her stuff back. And then he looks up at her, and
when they lock eyes, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is. They lock eyes, and they are just in awe of each other. It's adorable.
Yeah, definitely. We cut back to the beach where Sun is still sitting next to Kate. She's crying over the ring. And then she, takes like a really, really deep breath and starts to smile. And then that's the end of the episode.
Good ending to a rough episode.
Yeah.
And again, I can relate to Sun when she found the ring, the feeling that she had when she found the ring. I can totally get it.
Yeah.
So the last episode ended with Rose smiling about, her Apollo bar, and we know that Bernard is making his way toward her. And now this episode ends with Sun smiling over the ring, and Jin is making his way. Like, they're definitely building up like the reunion episode, right? Alrighty. So today's fun facts are not super fun, although they are facts. We are going to talk about
what?
We are going to talk about the bad Korea. Hurley asked Sun if she was from the good one or the bad one, which was a disaster of a question. But we are going to talk a little bit about North Korea. I pulled some information from Human Rights Watch, and I'll put a link in like the episode and on whatever this week's video episode will be, to hrw.org, and you can donate there to Human Rights Watch if you want. But they put together a pretty comprehensive report on North Korea. So I thought we'd just talk about some of the stuff that happens in that country. They have them ranked in 2020 as one of the most repressive countries in the world. It is currently under the rule of Kim Jong-un, who's the third leader in a nearly 75-year Kim dynasty. And this kind of stuff scares the shit out of me because there are families here in this country that would love to rule that way. Just pass it on.
One in particular.
Yeah, well, that came really close. And maybe still will be fighting that battle.
Yeah, we still might have to flee the country.
Over my fucking dead body.
Not fleeing.
Yeah. So right now, I mean, there's even more of a crisis in North Korea right now because they claim there's no COVID cases and they're keeping things pretty locked down. So it could be a fucking shit show and we wouldn't necessarily know. But here's a few other things about like life in North Korea. So they restrict movement from one province to another or abroad. You have to have prior like approval from the government in order to travel outside of your immediate area, essentially. And so many people end up in forced labor camps. They have this system in North Korea. Let me look for the word again. It's Songbun, Songbun. I don't really know how to properly pronounce it. But it's essentially this system where the government ranks every citizen in varying classes, like loyal, wavering, or hostile. And depending on how the government labels you, that's how you get treated in the society. And lots of people end up in like forced labor camps once they're labeled as hostile. And they build like any big public works programs. They just pull labor from these camps, and they force them to, work for the state essentially with no rights.
They literally work
whatsoever.
them to death.
Yeah, and they will. Yeah, like you said, they'll just die in the middle of a project, and they just replace them.
Yep.
It's a pretty terrible fucking place. And of course, women and girls have it worse than anyone else there, because that's always going to be the situation in a repressive regime.
And if you go visit, you have a minder with you that you can only go to certain places. They won't let you just wander around.
Yeah,
for
and
obvious reasons.
And according to Human Rights Watch, they claim that the government itself engages in human trafficking and will send or sell women off into forced labor or sexual exploitation and sexual slavery in China. So they provide women and girls to China. So that's North Korea. That's why I said it's not fun. They're not fun facts. It's a terrible place where people do not have any sort of freedom. It's one of those things that put stuff into perspective, when you live in the United States.
I've read a lot about it, and it's a horrible place.
In somewhere in Western countries. But it also is a warning, you can't
cautionary
get complacent
tale, man.
In democracy, right? Because this family, once they take power and they restrict all of that stuff, it's almost impossible to fight back. It's terrible.
Yeah, it sucks. We could have prevented it, but we stopped.
Oh boy. Well,
Korean War.
Yeah.
No, I know what you're talking about. That's just a whole lot of the United States doing what's best for us in the moment.
None of those proxy wars against the Soviets.
Yeah.
Vietnam.
We can get into the entire fallacy of containment, but that's even less fun.
All right. So did I successfully bring us down enough?
I'm just going to drink some more wine and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Drink wine. It'll be fine.
This isn't funny, but I'm going to keep drinking till it is.
Best and worst moments. Derek, how about you?
Best moment was when Sun and Jin ran into each other for the first time. That was really
sweet
a cool moment.
Yeah.
Yes. And the worst moment was the Mr. Kim, that asshole, not even letting a kid pee in his hotel. He's such a asshole.
Okay. Christy?
Sun finding her ring was the best moment. The first time that I rewatched it, I got a little choked up. Worst moment, Mr. Kim basically just telling Jin that he's trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On multiple
that was
occasions.
A tough moment. I guess
sure did.
Ben, how about you?
My best moment is sort of two sides of the same coin. It's when Jin meets Sun and when Sun finds a ring, because they kind of do that thing sort of at the same time. So that was a very, very life affirming moment. And then the worst, there's the worst, which I think is just, the hotel manager saying I smell fish on you. You shouldn't let anybody in that's like you. That's really fucked up. But then I have to say that's also tied with Michael yelling at a fucking waterfall.
Michael makes it into my worst moments too. For my best, I really just wrote down 3 quotes, and I don't know that I can pick between them. His name was Goodwin. I love that moment. Is that the good Korea or the bad Korea? It's just so ridiculous. And
it's
then
a valid question.
It is.
I mean, I know
North Korea is a bad Korea.
It's just the way Hurley approaches things.
His delivery was great.
Right.
Yep.
That's how it ended up there. So, but then I think even my top of the top was when Sun said, "Did you see me?" And Locke replies, "Rip your garden apart." No, I love that moment. For worst moments, I had a tie. One was Sun's heartbreak when she realizes that Mr. Lee is not into her. And then also Michael's irresponsibility. I just had that as a whole moment, I guess. But just his idiocy of running away like a fucking jackass.
Once again, they hand the script pages to him and it's just I'm going to have to practice this. Walt.
All right, I'm going to go right into my best and worst. So I have best character this week is Jin. I think he's just making all the right choices in the past. And he's somebody that, like, I keep discovering more about him that I didn't realize I liked. Mr. Echo, because he's just there as, like, the support. And I still have Ana Lucia in the third because she's really trying to keep everybody safe. My worst characters are all from the flashback. Mr. and Mrs. P as a collective unit pushing their daughter into this. Mr. Kim, who is the hotel manager, and then Mr. Lee, because he was not up front with Sun in any fucking way. I know they haven't met in real life yet, but this week I'm going to have a threesome with Sun and Ana Lucia because that just sounds hot. And I'm going to kill Michael because he's so fucking ridiculous in this episode that he deserves it. Who's next, Christy?
Okay, top 3, Jin, Echo, and Sun. Bottom 3, Mr. Kim, Ana Lucia, and Mr. and Mrs. P.
Oh my God, you just hate her.
She does.
I'm going to fuck Mr. Echo because that headbutt was hot. And I'm going to kill Mr. Kim. I figure we'll give Ana Lucia a break this week and we'll kill Mr. Kim.
Oh my God. Ben, how about you?
My best was Mr. Echo this week, with Jin right behind him and then Sun in third. And I didn't have a whole lot. My worst was just Mr. Kim. I didn't have any second or third worsts in this case. I'm gonna fuck Ana Lucia, and I'm gonna kill Michael.
Yeah, Michael deserves it this week.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Derek?
My best is Mr. Echo, Jin, and Sun. And my worst is Mr. Kim, Mr. and Mrs. P, and Jay Lee. I'm going to fuck Ana Lucia because I just think she's hot, and I'm going to kill Mr. Kim. I've always liked that actress. I remember the first time I saw her was, I think it was, what was that movie? I didn't watch that Fast and the Furious. I saw her years ago.
Yeah, wasn't she in? She was in one of those. Wasn't she in one of those like Grindhouse or one of those Robert? One of those ones that I can't remember who did those. Quentin Tarantino with
the Umbrella Academy. Why can't I remember the name of it?
That's Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. That's where I first saw her, and I was like, wow.
Okay, yeah, she shows up in like
muscular army chicks, but something about
that's
her.
Right. Yeah, I don't think she's in the original one, but she shows up later in the series, kind of like Lost.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So Ben, can you update us? What do our rankings look like after this week?
Let's see. After this week, we have Kate still in first place. Though, once again, she hasn't really gained a whole lot of points. She's been essentially the same since the second episode. So hopefully we're going to see some other folks start to overtake her because she's not really in these episodes a whole lot.
Right. She's just nobody's like blowing her out of the water in the meantime. That's interesting.
Yeah. Behind her, we've got Helen and Hurley still occupying the second spot.
So just like nothing is changing at the top right now, even though the characters are barely in the. Yeah, that's interesting.
Mr. Echo has jumped into third place.
Oh, Mr. Bronze is
Dr.
not
Bronze
in third.
is no longer Dr. Bronze.
But Dr. Bronze, sorry.
He's I don't know what he is now. He's a something copper. Yeah, and then let's see the bottom of the barrel. We've got still Mr. Cooper and Randy douchebag nations tied up. Susan and Mr. Kim has now come into the third bottom.
All right.
Good.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. You want to give us your final impressions, Ben?
Yeah, this was... I don't know. This was one of those episodes I feel like I liked it, but I also kind of felt like it was a bit of a placeholder. There wasn't really a whole lot that happened, at least on the island. You know, somebody lost a ring, somebody found a ring. Michael got lost and went off somewhere. They find him, but he came back. Not really a whole lot happened. You find a little bit more about their experience or the Backenders' experience with the others, and you get you get more of Sun and Jin's backstory. So I like the emergence of Mr. Echo in these episodes as more of a, I don't know, sort of a moral sort of leader, or like you said, an empathetic leader. But other than that, like, and there were some, some slightly funny moments here and there, like you said, Hurley saying good or bad Korea, and Locke popping up and saying, no, I didn't see you rip your garden apart. So it had good moments, but all in all, it felt like a sort of a holding episode.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was left kind of underwhelmed at the episode as a whole, although it does have good bits and pieces. I did write down for my final impressions of like the bit of the storyline where she lost her ring was kind of a likening to them like losing their relationship, and then she was able to find the ring. So now I'm left wondering, like, are they going to be able to put that relationship back together? Because obviously there's like we're building toward a reunion, right? Because the Backenders are marching toward, the originals camp or whatever. And so I appreciate that. I like that storyline. But I think you're right. Like, otherwise I just felt sort of underwhelmed by it, the episode as a whole. And more, again, I'm just building where like, I just want to know what happened. Like, what happened to the Backenders? It's all I care about right now. Christy, how about you?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. Like, there were definite parts of the plot that were furthered by the episode, but it wasn't a great episode in my opinion.
Okay.
And it really pissed you off.
It really did. Yeah, there's a lot in here that just really, really makes me mad. But,
Grinds
what can you do?
Gears.
Yes, exactly. Derek, how about final impressions? And are you left with any questions after this week?
Yeah, I agree. This episode was pretty slow on the island itself. We did get the, more of the backstory between Sun and Jin. I do like how, they're developing more Mr. Echo. I do like him as a character so far. And it was a tough episode, though. The flashbacks, the Mr. Kim was just a total ass. And but one of the biggest questions I have is, just like you, is what happened to the Backenders, and also, where is Walt? He's obviously not on the waterfall.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Yeah. Where is Walt? I guess we'll have to get to that later. But next week is a big old fucking episode.
Oh my God.
It's called Abandoned. And it is a Shannon episode, and Christy's going to give it to us. And until then, we'll see you next week. Bye.
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 Lost in My 40s is a Space Bear Media production. Executive produced and edited by me, Lacy J. Sound engineering, editing, and original music by Benjamin Trim. Like and follow Lost in My 40s on Facebook to interact with your hosts. Plus, follow Space Bear Media on YouTube to watch our episode pre-shows. You can also find us at SpaceBear_media on Instagram and Twitter. Or come to our website, spacebearmedia.com.